What is going on, everyone? Xavier here, and welcome back to another Make Academy lesson. If you're just joining us, I'm documenting my journey from complete beginner to running my own AI automation agency. Now, I'm following a 3-phase plan to get me there, but it all starts with mastering workflow automation. That's why we're powering through these lessons. We're right in the middle of the basics section where we just finished up the data types and structures course. Today, I'm going to be covering units 2 and 3 of this transforming data using functions course. We're going over text and format date functions. If you want the full breakdown of my business plan, I'll put that video up there as well as in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into today's lessons. All right, so here we are in the transforming data using functions course. We already went over unit 1 and the introduction in the last video. Now we're going into units 2 and 3. We're talking about transforming data only in text and format date functions, right? So if you remember last video, there are several different functions that we can use to change how data is formatted in destination modules, right? So in order to do that, we need to use functions. But you have to use certain functions for certain data, depending on what you're trying to do with that information. So we're gonna jump right into this unit, unit 2, transforming data with text functions. So here we have the unit introduction. You are now at the second unit of the transforming data using functions course within Make Basics. In the previous unit, you learned about the functions tab in Make. In this unit, you will start your learning journey on transforming data, and you will learn about the most common text functions in Make: upper, capitalize, start case, and lower. Click next. Text functions. Make has several built-in functions that can help you modify the text data. For example, change the case or capitalization of your text. You can find the text functions in the mapping window, or you can search for them manually in the search items field. You will cover the following functions in this course: upper, capitalize, start case, and lower. By now, you should have set up your Google Sheet called Basic Functions. It would be great to open it now because in the next part, you will work with each of the functions mentioned above. Let's get to it. Yeah, so we have the functions spreadsheet open here in the text functions tab down here. And apparently you can search for functions manually. I'm gonna click here to see how that looks. So in the little star field, there's a text box that you can search for your specific function as well. So I'm gonna click next. A pro tip: before we get into use cases, we'll briefly mention a tip when you map your functions. Instead of drag and drop, you could also just type the function name with the opening parentheses. For example, when you type upper with the open parentheses, the function will pop up. Then close the parentheses to close your function. The function input is what comes inside the parentheses. Check the image to see it in action. Now would be a good time to try it yourself too. Yeah, so in the future, we don't have to necessarily drag and drop. We can just go into the field and say I wanted to get the upper function. I can type upper with the open parentheses and it'll automatically change to a function without me having to go into the actual function and drag it. Click next. Exercise 1, upper. Let's start with the text function upper. The upper function converts all alphabetical characters in a text string to uppercase. To demonstrate different text and binary functions, you're going to set up a scenario which gets the current weather and sends it to a spreadsheet. Pretty basic, and you have already done it before, so it might look familiar. Add the weather get current weather module and enter your city as location. We have London, UK as our location. Then add the Google Sheets add a row module. Map your Google Sheet module with the basic function spreadsheet you have previously set up. Add your basic functions, spreadsheet, and text functions as sheet name. Alternatively, you can access a quick build of this using scenario layout using this zip file or this JSON code to get started. Right, so we gotta build a new scenario with these two modules here, and we're gonna connect our new function, our new basic functions spreadsheet, and just make sure the two modules are configured. So I'm gonna go up to scenarios and I'm gonna go to the top right where it says create scenario. We need a weather module, get current weather, and then you're just going to type your city, save it. Now we're gonna add another module. It's going to be a Google Sheets module, add a row, and then we're just gonna have to make sure we configure this to our newest Google Sheet. So my connection is already there. So I just have to go into spreadsheet ID, click basic functions. Sheet name is going to be text functions. And you can see that our values are already there because we have them in the spreadsheet: upper, capitalized, start case, and lower. And I believe that's it for this first step. And I'm just gonna go in here and name this basic functions. All right, we can go to the next slide. Your tab should contain headers. If you have not set up them already, now would be a good time to do it. In your Google Sheets module, in the upper column, map the upper function. You can either drag and drop it or just click on it. When mapping, notice also that most functions contain a brief description about what they do, plus an example. Simply hover over the function and the help tooltip will appear. This helps you understand each of the functions and decide which one you need for your specific case. So all we're doing right now is adding the upper function in the upper value. So go into Google Sheets, upper value, which is the A column, and we can either type it or we can drag it. So I'm just gonna drag it since it's easier. Okay, I lied, I don't, oh, it's text functions, duh. Text and binary functions. So I'm just going to click upper and you see it'll show the brackets, the parentheses, and anything that we wanted to use this function for, we would put that information inside the parentheses. So now we can click the next slide. The upper function will appear in the field with parentheses. The text you want to capitalize should be inside the parentheses. You can type the text on your own or map the item from the previous module. Here we chose the item description from the weather module. Click OK to save your mapping and then click the save icon to save the scenario. Now is the time to see if you had set it up correctly. Let's test the scenario. Click the run once button to see what happens. So we're mapping description from the weather module into the upper function in the Google Sheets module. So inside of this upper area, I'm just going to click it so that this little thing pops up. And if I click over here to the star, you'll see that this is all of the stuff from the weather module. So we're just going to click description in there and it should pop up in between the parentheses, and that's all we're doing. Save that module and save the scenario. And then it told us it wants us to run once. So I'm gonna run once and it looks like I got an error in the weather app. Okay. It says I exceeded request limitation of my subscription, which I don't know what it's talking about here. Didn't know there was a limit to running the modules. That's interesting. So I'm not allowed to use this scenario. This is weird. I've never had this problem before. On the free subscription type, what's the difference from this scenario and the last one? Okay, see, now it's saying I can't even run this scenario. So maybe they changed their terms or something? I don't know. All right, so I ended up just upgrading my subscription. Before, when I was going through this academy the first time, I never ran into this problem where I couldn't use parts of the only part that was really bad was the 2 active scenarios, but the operations and everything else worked just fine. I got way further than this the first time, but I did want you guys to be able to see this. So I did upgrade to the core plan, which is $11 a month. You guys don't have to do that. I'm more than willing to just do that so I can show you guys what you're gonna be actually working with before you actually upgrade, until you're more comfortable and you actually know you want to do this stuff. But yeah, I don't like that. Before, I could go way further in the academy without having to buy any plan. I could just use the free plan, but I guess they're not doing that anymore. Also, I did want to point this out, that it says starting August 27th, they're going to be replacing operations with credits. Hopefully that doesn't do anything too major or change how it works, but who knows? I guess we'll see. I am not a fan of this new update though, that I can't even see a simple weather module with the free. What's the point of the free one then at this point? Y'all are just trying to squeeze some more money out of people. But hey, maybe in the future it'll make more sense, maybe not, I don't know. But we do have the plan for you guys so you can see what's going on. So back to where we were, I'm gonna run this scenario once so we can see this upper function with the description. So I'm gonna click run once. You can see now we actually could generate information. If I click on this, it'll show the input output bundle. And if I click over here, it'll show the input and output bundle as well. But what we really wanna see is if it did anything in our Google Sheet. So I'm gonna click up here and you can see I actually ran it twice, but we did get the description in the uppercase function because it's in all uppercase. and it is in the exact place that we put it in our module, right? So you can see that it worked and it did what it was supposed to do, which is good. So now I'm gonna go back to our course and we can click the next slide. After running the scenario, the description output from the weather module should all be in uppercase letters. Open your Google Sheet to check it out. It should be similar to the one on the image. Bear in mind that your results might be different, depending on your selected location and the weather for the specific day. Uppercase may be used for headings and special situations, such as emphasis, for a word or a phrase. So yeah, transforming data. If we didn't have the upper function, it would just be in all lowercase, I believe. But since we put the function in the description for the upper column, it showed in all uppercase. So I'm gonna click next. Common text functions. Let's quickly go through 3 more text functions that we will use in this course. Okay, so we have capitalize. The capitalize function converts the first letter in the text string to uppercase. For example, make becomes make with M capitalized. This function might be handy for names. If your clients write their name in lowercase, you might want to convert the first letter to uppercase, which is the world standard for writing names. This function is also very useful for capitalizing the first word in a sentence. Keep in mind that it converts only the first character to uppercase, and it does not change the other ones. So first letter of a text string, that's what the capitalize function does. Then we have startcase. The startcase function capitalizes the first letter of every word in a string. So John Doe, or John Doe with Doe capitalized, would become John Doe with J and D capitalized. The startcase function is also good for names. It capitalizes the first letter of every word and makes everything else lowercase. It might also be useful for titles of songs or books, for example, which are commonly written in this way. Yeah, so startcase will make every first letter uppercase. You can see in this case, H and W for hello world would be uppercase in the startcase function. Then we have lower function. The lower function converts all the characters to lowercase. This might be useful, for example, for email addresses. If you want to make sure all of the email addresses are written in lowercase. Lowercase is common in computer languages, SMS, and instant messaging. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Everything will be lowercase. Click next. Exercise 2, capitalize, startcase, and lower. Now that you know what each function does, let's demonstrate it in practice. You can use the same scenario as before. You can also use the same output text as before with the upper function. Just to see the difference between each text function, in your Google Sheets module, map the following. In the capitalize column, insert the function capitalize. In the startcase column, insert the function startcase. And in the lower column, insert the function lower. I'm gonna click this next slide. In between the parentheses, insert the text you want to transform. Your mapping should look similar to the image on the left, depending on the item you inserted. Make sure that the line ends with parentheses. Click OK to save your changes. Now test the scenario by clicking Run Once. When the scenario finishes executing, go to your Google Sheets spreadsheet to check the changes that happened there. Yeah, so we're doing the same thing as we did with the upper. We're just going to put the different functions along with the description in the same scenario and see the difference between the different functions in the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna go into our scenario, go into the Google Sheets add a row module, and then we're just going to add these functions in the B through D columns. So in B we have capitalize, in C we have startcase, and in D we have lower. Go in between the parentheses, go to the star without anything typed, and we're just going to map description for all of these, just like that. Save the module and save the scenario. Then we're gonna click Run Once. And now if we go into our spreadsheet, we'll see that we have a list of all of the different types of functions that we specified, right? In the capitalize, the first letter of the string is capitalized. In startcase, the first letter of each word is capitalized. And in lower, it is in all lowercase. So that's exactly what they said it would do, and it looks like we didn't get any errors this time. You can see that the information is transformed from how it appears in the source module to how we define it by using functions. So now I can click next slide. You should have new text data in your spreadsheet. The text in column A should be all uppercase. The text in column B should have the first letter capitalized. The text in column C should have every first letter of every word capitalized, and the text in column D should be all lowercase. It should look similar to the image here. There it is. Now you can see the power of make functions. So theirs is a little different, but you can see it's the same thing. The data is transferred using functions depending on how you set it up in your scenario. So I'm gonna click next. Text functions, well done. Now you know how to use the most common text functions and what each of them does. There are plenty other text functions in Make, so feel free to explore on your own. Make Help Center is a good resource to help you out with this, okay? Click next, and that's the end of the unit. It says by now, you should have an understanding of how to transfer data using the following text functions: upper, capitalize, start case, and lower. Really good stuff in this unit. I'm probably gonna end it here because that unit is a little bit longer. I'm gonna assume that this next unit is gonna be just as long. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it here and we'll do the next unit, unit 3, and depending on how long it is, unit 4 in the next video. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that we couldn't do what we wanted to do in this unit with just the free version. It's not ideal. I don't like that very much, just because, you know, we're still learning. We're not using this to try to sell anything yet. We're not trying to build even really super complex stuff. We're just trying to run the module to see the information, right? And I understand that taking operations and that, or sorry, credits, and you like not being able to, you know, just take advantage of, you know, unlimited credits on the free version, that makes sense. But restricting users from being able to even see what is happening when they don't, if this wasn't such a complex program that you didn't need to actually learn how to use it before you could take advantage of the benefits from it, I might understand a little bit more, you know, if it was just like, you know, you click and it does everything for you, then yeah. I mean, maybe there is a way to do that I just don't know about, but with having to actually, you know, work through information and use credits to find out what is even going on with your scenario, I just find it a little cheap, you know, a little greedy, maybe just something that maybe didn't need to take place. But hey, maybe this website is just growing and they're trying to take advantage of, you know, more reach or something. I don't know. Regardless, we're gonna figure it out here on this channel and we're gonna do it together. But that being said, that's probably gonna be it for me for today. If you enjoyed any of the information in this video or you found it interesting, please feel free to drop a like, comment your thoughts, or hit that subscribe button. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys are doing well and I appreciate you watching. See you in the next one. If you're interested in building your own agency, but you're not really sure where to start, be sure to check out my video on setting up your first scenario. That should help you get the ball rolling. I'll put that video somewhere on the screen right now. Workflow automation is just one avenue you can choose, but the idea is to get exposure to different elements of advancements in AI to provide value to future customers. AI is everywhere, but I'm only interested in the parts that can change people's lives for the better. This is only the beginning, just taking it one day at a time. Hope you enjoyed the content and thanks for watching.